maybe we should examine why we hate women so much, even though we so deeply crave their affection. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. Thank you for making it. My name is Anya Braun, and here on my channel we talk about Black businesses, artists, entertainment, and information. And today we are talking about something completely unrelated because I just would like to talk about it. It is, if you haven't watched it already, the absolute ridiculousness that is Love is Blind. Okay, as a preface, as you may or may not already know, if you follow my TikTok or anything else, make sure to follow me there. I am AAB Beauty, and I am Anya Braun Beauty on Instagram, so check me out there. Also, big news. Wait a minute. Back it up, because did you notice anything different about my channel? Or anything different about this video? I got monetized! Yay! I'm so excited! I'm living. If you can't already tell, we have like a new setup here. I guess I'll also address some little housekeeping items. This right here, this big ass thing in the back, is super old china cabinet from my nan's house. It was a whole situation. The bank was taking her house. Very sad. I was very sad about it. I had a breakdown, but now it's fine. And so now I have it. So I gotta paint it, do a bunch of stuff. It's like old, but you know, whatever. We're keeping it for the family heirlooms, etc. Also behind me, as you can see here, is the wig I was supposed to wear today. I will not be doing that for the fact that I started doing my makeup and I was incredibly over it. And so I decided to stop. So those are my announcements for the day. I am going to be reacting to, I wrote down my notes here, the podcast. Okay, so if you watched this entirety of the Love is Blind season, then you'll know everyone here. There will be definite spoilers. If you haven't watched the season already, this is your spoiler alert right here, okay? And what I'm going to be reacting to, though, is the podcast. It's called, what is it called? It's called something. I don't know. It's the podcast that is Lauren's and someone else. Lauren from the first season of Love is Blind, who's currently married to Cameron. We love Lauren, our fave black girl from the show. She just has so much personality and she's just so cute and I love her. And her and Cameron are doing well and we're obsessed. Okay. Thank you for the siren, you fuckers. I'm like, whoa. Anyway. Yeah, so that is what we are going to be talking about today. There is some true tea to be spilled here that we didn't hear in the reunion, we didn't hear on the show, specifically from Deepti and Natalie, but certainly from Deepti, because we're going to get into it. Am I going to curse out Shake? Do I want to add to that, internet drama? Yes. So before we get started, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. We just got monetized. I'm so happy. I will have, just to let you know, as a little PSA between me and you, I will have quite literally the base like default amount of ads that you can have on your videos until I can actually start like getting monetized. I will do less and less. I promise I'm not just trying to be greedy. I quite literally need it desperately. So thank you so much if you're here. You're the best. I love it. That's awesome. Okay, cool. Oh wait, oh my god, I do have one more thing I forgot to say. This will be my last thing, I promise. I'm gonna be on TV. Didn't know if I told you yet, but I could be at least. If you vote for me, the link will be down below. It's called Influence Me TV, an influencer reality TV series, which fits perfectly here because I would be in the same position as them, except for it's a competition show and the prize is $100,000. And yes, I do plan on winning it. So make sure that you vote for me. It is free. You just have to make an account and then press submit, whatever, and period. Yeah. So it's in round 1. I'll let you know when round 1 is over, but definitely do that. It would help me out a lot. Okay, I'll stop now. Let's get into the juice. Bye. Okay, so like I said, this is Lauren's podcast. Lauren from season 1. I just wrote here, Lauren is so sweet. I want to be her friend and she's amazing queen. So the first person we have here is Deepti. Okay, so if you don't know, quick little recap. Deepti in the show was married to Shake. Or was not married, they were engaged. And essentially, it was interesting because in the beginning, they are both Indian and Deepti was just talking about how both of them had only been with white people. She had only been with white guys. And Shake had only been with white girls. However, it seems, and we'll get into like down the road about like kind of the explanation behind this, it seems more like it was a requirement for Shake. And as the season goes on, we get to see the true hot garbage exposed. You know what I mean? In the beginning, I thought they were doing like he's like kind of, but like he has like a redemption arc. That's where I thought it was going, because they seem to get along really well, which I also think was probably, editing. Like, as we know, I don't know any of these people in real life. I'm not making it like any true, like, this is my opinion based on the like characters of the show that was obviously highly edited. It's a fucking reality TV show. So, I mean, do I give a fuck? Not really. Should you? Not really. But it's just fun to talk about because the drama on the season was a lot. So, Deepti and Shake are together. We meet Shake, and the whole situation is they're not supposed to see each other. The name of the show is called Love is Blind, and Shake seems to be extremely pressed on what all these bitches look like. So he's asking them like, oh, would I be able to lift you up at a music festival? Like, trying to sift through to see if they're fat, basically, because, fat phobia, duh. If we're going to have internalized racism, colorism, we might as well have fat phobia. And just asking people shit about what they look like, and they're like, the fuck, like, this is called Love is Blind. So he's kind of an asshole, but it's kind of like, oh my god, he has this like realization, like, oh my gosh, maybe I'm an asshole, and it's like, yeah. Turns out that goes nowhere, and I was surprised when Deepti said no at the altar, because I thought that they were like hinting towards a redemption arc kind of thing. I didn't know that it was necessarily as bad as it was, even though he did make so many comments about not being attracted to her, feeling like he's with his aunt, etc., etc., which is bullshit, considering when he first met her, he was grabbing her ass on national television. So you'd think that at the very least you'd have enough respect for yourself to not do that, because you look like a fool. Anyway, now Deepti starts talking, she starts spilling the tea. So everyone who meets Deepti has great things to say about her. They say she's such a queen, love her. And like, that was a big theme of the reunion show, was people being like, Deepti's so nice and awesome, and like, you're not. And so why do you have so many bad things to say about her? I mean, long story short, no one in the cast likes Shake, which says a lot considering there's other problematic people there. But he's pretty much the worst, including the hosts. Oh, yes. And then I would like to touch on that when Deepti does say no at the altar, then you can see that's when the true colors start to come out, because you can see the way that Shake is clearly upset by this. And yet he tries to play it off as though it doesn't matter at all, as though you didn't have any feelings for her, you weren't engaged. But he doesn't even do it in a way that's like positive. It just quite literally looks like someone who's having a breakdown, like who cannot process the events that are occurring, which is shitty. Saying like stupid shit like, oh, this is a party, we should celebrate. He doesn't even like go after her or try and talk to her, or maybe say, hey, why did you say that? Probably because he knows that he's just been an asshole, and she's already said that like more things happened than were filmed and shown. So I guess he already knew, but he had the nerve to say shit like, oh, well, if she would have said yes, then I would have said yes. Why? Because you have no backbone, or because you're lying? So were you lying then, or you're lying now? Right. Okay, so now here is where the tea comes in. I'm going to read you my bullet points and we're going to talk about it. So Deepti said that Shake made girls cry in the pods. Made them cry with his stupid ass comments from like day one. So it was no shock to anyone. Like I said, I think they even painted him in a better light than he should have been. If you're making girls cry on day one of meeting them, that's probably not like conducive to like a healthy person or relationship or whatever, like that's probably not a person I would want to be around. Let's just say that. I wrote here, I would have cursed him out for sure. I do not have as much compassion as Deepti. She said a lot about like seeing the good in him or whatever, and I don't have that. So, I mean, that's good for her. Like I said, queen. She also says, on paper, you're perfect for me, saying things like, oh, he really likes music and like he's a veterinarian. So like you would think that he would have some sort of like, compassionate heart like she does. And I don't know if that was contrived or just lies, but either way, it's false. And I say here, paper ain't a person, period. So then Deepti said, we really connected when he let his walls down and when it was just us, no outside noise. Now, I have this here as a red flag. because that's a problem. Now, I would like to say here, I am not a professional. I'm not diagnosing anyone with anything. I don't know, like I said, shit about him in real life. But based on this information that we have been presented, he is showing a lot of signs. A lot of people love to, currently throw around the word narcissist. But there are, at the very least, like I said, I'm not diagnosing anyone. At the very least, a lot of... What the hell? Scare the shit out of me. A lot of characteristics shown that you could say are very similar to those narcissistic traits. A lot of those having to do with perceived appearance, manipulation, heavy, all of that. She says, when it's just us, we get along. But my thing is, it's not just you. It's just... When it's just us, we get along. I can only see, based on the things we've said and the things that were stated here, how much the performance aspect is important to him to maintain his appearance, whatever that may be, in order to use that for manipulation. So it's a lot easier to perform to one person than it is a group. And I think that's a lot where people kind of get duped. It's like, oh, well, when it's just us, like, he's so nice. And it's like, well, because you're the only person he has to be fooling. You know what I mean? When it's a group of people, there's more of that pressure to control everything, manipulate, and try and make yourself look good, even though none of that is necessary. Like, no one even asked. We have written down here, when he compared the marriage to a purchase. I mean, what more do we need to say here? Classic misogyny. Then Deepti said something that really stuck out to me. She said, the face or the mask he put on for filming doesn't match who he truly is. Red flag. Another big problem being that, why do you have a mask or a face for filming or for being just with me or for being in a group? Why can you not just be yourself? Because you suck. Like I said, that just goes right along with the having to control the narrative of how you're perceived in order to be able to manipulate people to your own desires, which is fucked up. And also, I would like to say, just didn't work. Like, here, it just didn't work. What persona are you trying, like, how are you trying to look? You're trying to look cool? Like, you don't care? Like, you're just like, whatever, fuck it. Because you look crazy. She also says, which I have here another, like, along with the red flags, when I would hang out with him, my energy would be drained. Need I say more? He has a problem with at least one person in the room, in any given room, and it's usually a woman or women. Why? Like, that is also, I don't know, maybe not good. Maybe we should examine why we hate women so much, even though we so deeply crave their affection. Just a guess. Now we have another red flag. She says that he's got no self-awareness, no remorse. Another huge key trait here being... he doesn't feel sorry about any of the shit that he says. He says that you're a fucking fugly bitch, and he's like, okay. He doesn't give a fuck, because none of that actually matters to him. You know what I mean? It's about him and what he can get. It's not about you or your feelings or anything, because self-awareness does not serve him. So why would he care to have it? Or why would he even care to be perceived as having it? She also said that he hasn't apologized to her once about the comments that he made about not being attracted to her countless times. And also they said that the comments were actually much worse than what was aired on TV. That was the watered down version. So I'm assuming that he was saying some pretty fucked up things about her, talking behind her back, which once again, if you just really didn't give a fuck about what anyone had to think about you, then why wouldn't you just say that to her fucking face? Because you can't, because you're scared. Because then what happens? Oh no, now she doesn't want to be with me. Now we don't get engaged. Or now we're past after we get engaged. Oh no, now we don't make it to the wedding day. You could have saved everyone a lot of time by just saying, no, I don't want to be together. What is your insistent upon wanting to be with her, but ooh, being like, she's so ugly. Ooh. What is that for? What is the purpose? Oh my God. She also says that Shake was hitting on the host at the couple's reveal with her husband right next to her. Whatever, what is her name? Lachey. And she doesn't even like him. She done cursed him out. So she was like, fuck you on the TV, which says a lot about, the reunion was chaotic. It was very chaotic. She does mention how Kyle is like her best friend here, and how in the reunion they were like, oh, well, Kyle was saying like, my biggest regret is not getting with Deepti, please. I would suspect that they're doing something, which I mean, good for them, because Kyle had a pretty shitty partner. Deepti had a shitty partner. Neither of them deserved it, and they can just, go on. Figure it out. At the end, Deepti does mention the internalized racism held by both her and Shake, and she acknowledges that for her, it could stem from her moving to America at such a young age and just wanting to fit in, which is great. That is an actual true level of self-awareness. And that's the thing that I would like to point out here, is that no one is asking for perfection from these people. We're simply just asking for self-awareness and growth. And that is something that has not been presented at all from Shake. And I don't think at this point we can expect that. I mean, he's clearly just wants attention, which is a huge factor in all of this as well, is just attention, attention, attention. Look at me. I have something to say. I want to be a part of it. Look at me, look at me, look at me. I'm so cool because I was on TV or whatever, which is just not the case. I do appreciate, though, when someone just exposes themselves involuntarily or exposes themselves voluntarily, because then no one else has to do it. You done made a fool of yourself, and now when no one wants to date you because everyone knows how you speak about women and how you feel about them, then that'll be cool. Or when you get your perfect little blondie girl that you want to love so bad, and she also is not with that bullshit, then good fucking luck. All right, so that was pretty much it for Deepti. We said goodbye to Deepti and we said hello to Natalie. Now, background on Natalie. Natalie was, once again, I keep wanting to say married, but engaged to Shane. Now, things about Natalie and Shane's relationship that stood out to me, I think that they were very playful, which I think is a good sign. That's a relatively good sign in the pods, and also once they got out of the pods. I think people were kind of suspicious at first, but then they ended up being the strongest connection for a long time. As far as Shane goes, I will not be commenting on his physical appearance or his mannerisms or whatever, because frankly, I don't think it's relevant or my business. But he does definitely need a lot of verbal reassurance. I'm sure his, whatever love language is words of affirmation, because he always wants to hear you're so hot, you're so nice, you're so cool, our relationship is so awesome, I love it, things like that. That became a point of contention for them, because she was maybe not expressing those things as much as he would like. Or even joking around. She was being pretty sarcastic and everything, saying oh, well, no, you look like shit, or you're a piece of shit or whatever. And he was not feeling that, really taking that stuff to heart, which I can definitely see, especially if that's your love language. But we do see in the beginning classic signs of gaslighting also from, you can watch, there's there's plenty of therapist channels who have broken this down. So I'll link some of those down below. But you can just see the second that they have the whole name debacle situation where he calls her the wrong name and is like, oh, I'm so excited to see you, which obviously ended up being awkward considering you weren't even talking to the person you thought you were, and that is the one who you actually wanted to propose to and, ask to be your girlfriend, etc., etc. So I can see why Natalie was annoyed, at least. That's shitty if you're calling someone by the wrong name, especially when they already heard your voice. And then he just didn't even let her talk at all. He just gaslit her straight into being like, if you're upset about this, then this is really, that's really messed up, because we're dating everyone in these things and da-da-da-da, when he acknowledges in the reunion that he didn't even let her get the chance to speak, and that was, a mistake on his part, which is good. At least, we are seeing some levels of self-awareness, even if we're not seeing changed behavior necessarily. Will we? Doubt it, because the show only goes on for so long. We're not here to, be that involved in their lives. But long story short, I was very, very shocked when the wedding episodes came and Natalie did say no. And I knew she was going to say no when we got to the point where she said she comes in the wedding day upset. That's already, girl, if you come in the wedding day upset, that's a red flag, because that should not be the case. You should be happy. You should, know what's going down. And she knew it was going down, but it was not going to be positive. And she had to say no. I'm glad that she said no after finding out that they did have that big fight where he told her that she was the worst thing that ever happened to him, etc., etc. And we didn't see that big fight, but it obviously had to have been big enough to where they decided to not get married anymore. And she was saying that she asked him something about like, oh, do you think you're drinking too much or whatever? And he got very upset with that. And I don't necessarily trust what happened or their recounts of what happened, because he also seemed very dismissive of it at that time, which is like, if you, at the time of the wedding, which like you said all those things, my thing is like the day before the wedding, that's a pretty clear indicator of like, I don't want to be with you. So then why the next day would you be like, yes, I do? It's kind of like at that point the bed is already made, even though you have to still go into decision day. Oh, also tea that we find out about Natalie is that she was actually proposed to by someone else in the pods before she was engaged to Shane. This is very crazy that I did not know. And she said that it was someone who didn't get a lot of airtime, but they proposed to her and she declined that proposal and later accepted Shane's proposal. So I wonder why that is, or, if they would be talking more or whatever, but she didn't say who it was, but she said it was someone who had like a 10-second clip. So if you see anyone with the 10-second clip, that is a man who you think looks like they would propose to Natalie. Leave it down below, because I would love to see, like, tell me where I can find it. Now, here's the thing. Natalie and Shane were in a, I guess, like, love triangle kind of thing with Shayna, the blonde influencer one, who's like, I've got so many friends, which, of course, were they painting her to be, like, the dumb blonde? Sure, I'm sure. But also, was she giving them the brush? I mean, come on. So I picture them together when Shayna goes on this whole rant to Shane after they're already engaged, talking about she's not the right one for you, like, fuck her, be with me instead. After Shayna in the pods quite literally got engaged and then went running to Shane to tell him how she felt, which was not appropriate at all and was super fucked up. And Kyle obviously knows that, and I'm sure she already has gotten berated for that. So go on, Shayna. But I envision them, because they also, okay, here's the thing. At the reunion, they also say like, oh, well, I saw that Shayna and Shane, you've seen each other since the show has stopped airing. And they're like, yeah, but it wasn't anything sexual. It wasn't anything sexual. We didn't like do anything suspicious as fuck. Like, okay, why would you even bring that up? No one was even talking about that. That's what the host says. She was like, okay, that's not even what I was asking. I just asked if you guys saw each other. So why are you being weird? So they're definitely doing something. But them, in my mind, they're giving me very much that couple. They're giving me the, like, jock and cheerleader who, like, got together solely based on looks when they were, like, 13 and status vibes, but then just stayed together because neither of them wanted to be single or have the other person be single. So they're like, fuck it. And they just kind of live their, like, mediocre love story filled with, like, kind of resentment and, like, not much true connection. That's just my assumption based on what we've seen, because clearly Natalie and Shane had, at least, like, their personalities at least were, like, vibing. With the other ones, it was like, he's like, same thing, like, what are you wearing? And she's like, I'm wearing a crop top. It's like, oh my God. Ew. Also, the fact that Natalie didn't curse Shayna out, we need to go back in time, and she needs to get cursed out, for sure. For sure. I'm already engaged to him, and you're talking about, oh, you're not the one for her, and she sucks, and you should be with me. And then she lies straight to your face about it, saying like, oh, I didn't tell you, like, the extent of how I felt. No, bitch, you didn't say shit, actually. So you're done. She's talking about, oh, like, we're cordial now or whatever, but yeah, I bet she is, because she fucked up. Like, duh. Natalie said, oh, she's been nothing but nice to me. Yeah, I bet she has, because she's a fake ass bitch. That's literally how this works. Like, what? Which, I mean, obviously, I'm just kidding. Like I said, I don't know any of these people in real life, but I do know if that was me, I would have called her a fake ass bitch to her face, for sure. Oh, my last note here is just, once again, about the gaslighting McQueen. We already went over it. The fact that this, I was saying, like, I would literally pay pay-per-view to watch this fight that was had off camera the night before the wedding, because why do I just have the feeling that based on how she reacted to all the Shayna stuff, that he was really going in on her, and she was like, he's just struggling, you know what I mean? Like, of course she did not choose to be with him. She's not, like, you know, not losing it that much, but still, I feel like she kind of gave him some, like, what, and he loves to say, like, oh, well, you did things wrong too. Don't you think you did things wrong? And, like, you don't have regrets? Like, let's focus on those kind of thing. And it's like, no, maybe let's not, because she was prepared to say yes until that situation, and he still did say yes, knowing that he obviously very much so hurt her, and that it was, like, not likely that they were going to be able to move past it. They did say that they did date a couple months after the show, but that they had to break up again, which just goes to show it was not meant to be. I am very glad for all of these ladies. They do seem like they have, you know, great vibes. They seem like they get along with each other well in the cast and everything, so that's good. It was fantastic to see in real time. I mean, there's a lot of reasons why the show was so toxic and ridiculous, but at the same time, trash reality TV is what actually fuels my soul. So, you know, that's neither here nor there. Could they definitely hire some therapists like Married at First Sight to get them some couples counseling during all of this? Absolutely. The Netflix budget runs deep, and they quite literally are just doing it so that they can get more toxic drama, which does suck on a real life level, but is very fulfilling on a personal level. So with all of that, I am officially done. Like I said, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel if you'd like to see this lovely face again, or if you'd like to if you'd like to support me, a Black woman with a dream. Yeah, that's it. You can follow my TikTok. We are at 100K over there, and that's super awesome. Like I said, AAB Beauty. Instagram is Anya Braun Beauty. You can see all my lovely modeling, and make sure to vote for me. The link will be down below. I would absolutely love it. And then you can judge me on your own personal channel for my own reality TV show. It'll be so full circle. It'll be crazy. Maybe I'll be the villain. Am I the villain? I don't think I'm the villain. No, I probably won't. I'll probably be like the lovable one, because, like, you know, that's like my vibe. I'm very competitive. But as we know, she's a comedy queen, so I'm sure that people will gag. I'm done. Have a great day. Have a great life. Do what it is that you do. And follow me for more. Bye.